Now, I'm sure most of us had heard of this news story about this Florida man. Supposedly, he was kidnapped by dolphins and he was made to build this whole underwater city. I'm going to go ahead and play this video by Article, and while it does sound silly, while it does sound outlandish, I'm going to go ahead and make an interesting connection at the end of his video.
Supposedly a man was kidnapped by dolphins, and what he's saying these dolphins made him do is wild. So a 33-year-old man was found disoriented and sunburned on the Sanibel Causeway early Monday morning, claiming he was abducted by a pod of dolphins and forced to labor on an elaborate underwater construction project. Yep. Now, Lee County Sheriff's Office deputies got a call around 5:45 a.m. from a passing motorist who spotted Ricky James Hollowell standing barefoot on the shoulder of the causeway, drenched in seawater and frantically sketching diagrams in the wet sand. A severe sunburn covered his upper body and what appeared to be minor abrasions on his hands and feet, consistent, he later claimed, with handling coral and structural materials underwater. Okay, now according to the official incident report, Hollowell recounted being approached by a group of bottlenose dolphins while swimming recreationally off Fort Myers Beach on Friday afternoon. He said they surrounded me like a security detail. He said it wasn't aggressive at first, but they nudged him deeper away from the shore. Before he knew it, he was at a site about 40 feet down in the Gulf, helping them build what looked like a full-scale aquatic habitat. What? Now, the man described the dolphins communicating via a complex series of echolocation clicks and whistles, which he said he picked up on after a few hours. Now, he identified the apparent leader of the pod as Gerald, a large male dolphin with distinctive scarring on its dorsal fin. He referred to him as the project foreman. So deputies were like, "How did you breathe underwater?" Ricky replied cryptically, "Gerald handled the breathing part, some kind of bubble system or pressure adaptation. I didn't ask too many questions. You don't question Gerald. He's got that authoritative vibe." But it gets crazier. Deputies noted that the sand sketches were remarkably detailed, spanning roughly 10 feet across, including scaled blueprints for what resembled a submerged community, multi-level condo structures made from natural coral and synthetic-like materials, a central town square with gathering pods, and even a recreation center. The fuck? The guy's diagrams had zoning regulations penciled in, setbacks, load-bearing specs, even environmental impact notes. He was then released Sunday evening after dolphins deemed his contributions satisfactory, with Gerald allegedly signaling that they might return for phase 2. He then swam back to shore, disoriented from exhaustion, and hitchhiked partway to the causeway before collapsing. So they send this guy to Lee Memorial Hospital for evaluation, where he's treated for dehydration and sunburn, but there was no DRUGs or alcohol in his system. He was also cleared with a clean bill of health, reporting no signs of delirium, psychosis, or head trauma that could explain these hallucinations. Or were they? Now, however, a routine chest x-ray and a fluid analysis revealed trace amounts of Gulf seawater in his lungs, specifically saline levels matching samples from 30 to 50 feet offshore, with microscopic marine particles like diatoms and plankton residue. Dude was working underwater. Now, the crazy thing is, Ricky did this for a living. He specialized in underwater construction and bio-inspired engineering. It's like Gerald knew. Now, the police can't explain this. There's just too many details. But this has got to be one of the coolest stories I've ever heard in my life. Dolphins are the shit, and they chose Ricky to come build with them. Wild.
So exactly one day after the story broke out, the Lee County Sheriff's Office went to the news to set the record straight about marine mammals were behind an underwater construction operation off the coast of Florida. I mean, kind of weird, right? This is the internet we're talking about. There are many rumors and outlandish claims made online that spread like wildfire. And yet, when it comes to this one, the Sheriff's Office comes out, I don't even think a day later, to set the record straight. But come to find out, it was the Sheriff's Office that are now saying they started the rumor. Continue to read the article. It says the Sheriff's Office emphasized that the situation is purely humorous. The agency added in a playful disclaimer, no dolphins were harmed in the making of this rumor. The department frequently uses lighthearted posts to engage with the community, blending local flavor with coastal humor. In this case, officials say the only thing underwater in Lee County is the usual mix of fish, shells, and sea life, not construction crews or ocean-dwelling architects. They go on to add, despite the viral nature of this claim, authorities say there is no evidence of any underwater city, planned or otherwise. As of now, the real estate market remains firmly on dry land. But here's the thing, and here's the interesting connection. There actually is an underwater city. Does anybody remember Terramar? I spoke about it in a previous video. Ghislaine Maxwell's Terramar, this underwater city, this underwater utopia where the rich and powerful will go to, where they needed digital IDs and things like that back in 2016 in order to gain access. Maxwell had big partnerships with billionaires building this underwater city. She also said that Terramar owned like 50 to 70% of the waters, so it's not outside the realm of possibility that this Terramar would also stretch or eventually expand into the Gulf. What if these things lurking below are not really dolphins? They might look like dolphins, but they could be some kind of DNA experiment, genetic experiment linked to Terramar, which that into itself is not really outside the realm of possibility given the fact that Jeffrey on Azora Ranch was deeply involved with DNA and genetic experimentation. So if they're doing experimentations on land, they're definitely doing it under the sea. And even if this is not the case, even if there's no connections to be had here, what a very strange and odd and very detailed story to go viral, started by the sheriff's office themselves.